Hi, dissertation writer. What if you could have the awesome benefits of AI in your research writing with complete certainty that you're using it ethically? What if you could get all the benefits and know, absolutely know, that you never crossed the line? And what if you never had to wonder again? What if there was one framework, one simple picture that showed you exactly what's ethical, what's cheating, and exactly where you're standing today? Because here's a hidden truth somebody needs to say out loud. If the machine wrote it and you changed the words around, you didn't write your dissertation. You may be expelling yourself or buying a regret that will visit you every night for the rest of your life. When you know the line between ethical and unethical use of AI, you get to be certain that you own your doctoral degree. Well, hello everybody, and I want to welcome you to Office Hours with Dr. Guy, where the reading is rampant, the citations are scintillating, and the finished defended dissertation is seen as the doorway through which you could do your ultimate life's work and service. Today, we are building something truly special together, a framework for the ethical use of AI in your research writing. Not a vibe, not a guess, a real line drawn in one simple picture that you can stand on for the rest of your doctorate. Now team, here's the problem. You're writing a dissertation in the first moment in human history when a machine can write it for you for $20 US a month. And using it wrong is a lot like hiring somebody to go to the gym and exercise on your behalf. Hear me, the push-ups get done, the reps get counted, somebody's getting stronger, it just isn't you. And when the academic work gets hard, it's very, very easy to hand over some of the work to AI. A paragraph here, a summary there, it feels fruitful, it has the feeling of progress, but it's fool's gold. And here's what I see everywhere I look. Two kinds of doctoral students, and both are losing. The first is so terrified of being accused of cheating that they won't touch AI at all, and they're leaving hundreds of hours on the table. The second is drifting, one small shortcut at a time across the line they cannot see. And that's the real problem. Nobody has drawn the line, so today we draw it. So I want to give you a framework for considering the ethical use of AI in research writing. Yes, in your dissertation, but hear me, this same framework works for a journal article, a thesis, anything scholarly that carries your name. With this framework, you will be able to take any way you might use AI, place it on one simple picture, and know before you ever type the prompt which side of the line you're standing on. It starts with a continuum running left to right. This continuum from left to right is the territory. Every single thing you might ask an AI to do, every prompt, every request, every little assignment you hand it lands somewhere on this continuum. Not the AI tool. It's just a tool, and tools aren't evil. What lands on this continuum is the act, what you ask the AI to do. That's what we're going to measure today. On the far left, authored by me. Picture the extreme. You're sitting in a cabin with no internet connection, inventing things out of your brain and writing them down. That's 100% authorship. It's all you. It's all your brain. Nobody actually writes there, by the way. No scholar ever has, because a dissertation is required to be in conversation with the literature. Other voices were always going to be in the room. The question was never other voices present, it's whether you remain the author, the one in charge of every voice that appears in your paper. And on the far right, not authored by me, the other extreme. The machine invents the logic, the words, the paragraphs, all of it, and your name gets printed on top. Zero authorship on your part. On this extreme, you have not created anything here. Looking at these two extremes, hold those two poles in your mind, because everything you'll ever do in your research lives somewhere between them. Now, right in the middle, we draw a line, and this line divides your actions between ethical and unethical. On one side, you're using a tool with integrity. On the other side, the paper stops being authored by you, and it starts being authored by something else besides you. That's the crossing. It's not about which app you opened, it's about authorship. It's always been about authorship. Everything on the left side of that line we call ethical. Now, one caveat, and it matters. Your university may draw its own line tighter than mine. Where it does, theirs wins. This picture tells you what's honest. Your university and program policies tell you what's allowed. Read both. But notice something about this side. It's a big territory. It's wide open. There's so much room to run over there. And most doctoral students have barely explored it. Everything on the right side we call unethical. Not gray, not it depends. Once your paper is being authored by something that is not you, and your name still appears on the cover, you've crossed over. And later, I'll show you exactly how honest students end up over here. One small step, a little bit of a creep at a time. So let's plot some real acts on this line. Every act we plot fits one little sentence. I use AI to, and then a verb. Here's the first one, way over on the left. Level 1, I use AI to discover. Find me 5 articles about this topic for me to read. That's perfectly fine, and here's the way I want you to think about it. Imagine that the AI is a research librarian for you. There's nothing unethical about walking into your library and saying to Librarian Lucy or to Librarian Fred, hey, can you help me find some articles about this topic? That's what librarians do. Just so happens, this one's always awake and it never tires. In fact, write this one down. Anything that you could ask a research librarian to ethically do, it's okay for the AI to do on your behalf. Now, notice the dot isn't sitting on the poll itself, because even here, you delegated one small judgment, which 5 articles, so every so often, go walk the stacks yourself, open up the databases yourself, and do some thoughtful searching, or the machine will quietly draw the boundaries of your reading for you. Now look underneath the line, because there's a name for this relationship. The AI as your co-researcher, your co-thinker. In this mode, the AI informs you, the scholar. It never touches your manuscript. It never even sees your manuscript. It hands you leads, and you do the reading, the judgment, the writing. It's Lucy the librarian. And remember, I can't cite my research librarian. You can't cite your research librarian. I can't say, Lucy, 2026. The librarian points, the scholar goes and reads the real thing. Level 2, one step to the right, I use the AI to appraise. Summarize these 12 articles, a few sentences each, so I can decide which ones to read deeply and in what order. Still ethical. Librarians have been making annotated bibliographies since before you were born. But notice what just happened. Your first contact with these sources is now machine-made. So treat those summaries like the starting point of your work, not the end of your work. If the summary leads you to go read the article for real, you're still firmly on the left, ethical side of this framework. Level 3, I use the AI to plan. Build me a 4-week reading schedule for these 15 sources. Give me a checklist of what to notice while I read. This is a personal syllabus, and you've never once felt guilty about a syllabus. Well, I guess unless you weren't doing the work on the syllabus. Your entire doctoral coursework was somebody else planning your reading. And so the plan produces no prose, no claims, nothing that lands on your pages. You still do every hour of that reading with your own eyes. Every article, every word of it, comfortably ethical, and honestly, one of the most powerful uses of AI in research there is. Level 4, and now we're getting closer to the middle, I use the AI to curate. Go and curate for me the 30 sources that would be best for use in my dissertation. Do you feel that difference? Find became curate. 5 became 30. For me to read became for use. You just asked the machine to exercise judgment. And whose job is judgment? A museum curator decides what to hang in the gallery. And in your study, that curator is supposed to be you. And there's a standing version of this one. Keep growing my library. Find more sources like the ones already in it. Now the machine is asking its own questions, and each round of its choosing seeds the next. A literature review needs tension, and more like these only ever buys you agreement. Can you do this level ethically? Yes, with your hands on it. You read what it finds. You throw half of it out. You go hunting for what it missed, because the machine only sees what it can reach, but the dot has moved. The dot has moved to the right. And see how the relationship has changed underneath? There's a second mode of AI use beyond that of co-researcher. The AI is now functioning as your agent. An agent doesn't just inform you anymore. An agent acts on the scholar's behalf. Your work, your library, your reference list, your draft, and the moment the machine output starts flowing towards your pages, you, the researcher, have to pick up a new job that never goes away. Verifier. You stand behind every single thing the AI has touched. Every source, every citation, every claim. Verify first, then trust. Level 5 sits dead center, straddling the line. I use the AI to arrange. And where your dot lands inside this level starts with a question. Arrange what exactly? Not because the ethics went gray, but because arrange is two different acts wearing one name. Fetch missing DOIs for my reference list and I'll verify every single one personally. Ethical, clerical even. Citation managers have been doing that for decades. Look across the sources I've read, my notes, my annotations, and propose how the themes might fit together. Still ethical, right at the edge, because it's a proposal being made by the AI, and you're competent to judge it because you did the reading or are going to do the reading. But what decides ethical here isn't what you arrange. It's one word: verification. Listen. Obtain my DOIs and insert them into my draft, and I won't be checking them later. That one crossed. Same clerical act. The only difference, nobody's checking. And the whole reason you check is so that nothing sneaks into that paper that's not yours. So where exactly is the crossing between what is ethical and unethical? Right here. And this model names it twice, one level apart. At arrange, the line is where you sign what you never checked. One step further, and I can say it in 4 words, the pen changes hands. That's handing off authorship. First, the checking is surrendered. Then the voice is surrendered. And from here on, the machine is performing the 2 verbs that your degree actually certifies: reading and writing. Those 2 verbs. They were never yours to hand over. Now that we have crossed this line into the unethical use of AI, the AI has become and will become more and more the author of your work. Level 6, the full first step over the line, I use the AI to ghostwrite. Here's my outline, and here are my notes. Draft this section for me. I'll revise it. Oh, that last part sounds so responsible, doesn't it? I'll revise it. Team, revision does not reclaim authorship. What follows drafting is editing. And an editor is not an author. And ghostwriting has a twin that fools even good people. Summarize these 20 sources. I don't have time to read them. I'll cite from your summaries. Here, a researcher may mistakenly rely upon the summary of the AI alone, testifying in their writing to reading that never happened. Ghost-written words, ghost-read sources, same ghost. Level 7, I use the AI to write. Now the machine writes the draft from little more than a topic, and you go in after it with your thesaurus, changing a word here, reshuffling a sentence there, until it feels like yours. Let me be as plain as I know how to be. You can't be thesaurusing every 3 words, so that way it doesn't sound like the AI. That's still written by the AI. You're just a thesaurus now. You're an AI working for an AI, and I tell you, even if that fancy plagiarism detector or AI detector that some universities use says that you are in the clear, changing the AI's words and shuffling them around is not authorship. It's cheating. Look at the mode we've entered. The AI as author. In this territory, the machine isn't informing you. It isn't acting on your work. It's doing the scholarship. The ideas, the logic, the structure, the words, and you've become its assistant. its typist, its errand runner. The whole relationship has flipped upside down, and the student this doctoral degree is supposed to certify has quietly left the keyboard for all but switching around words in their positions. Level 8, I use the AI to disguise. The student has the AI write the draft and then uses AI again to reword it, reshuffle it, humanize it, so that nobody can tell. Stop and look at what that act confesses. You don't disguise what you own. Up until this point, one could easily fool themselves into thinking that they were not acting unethically. At this level, disguising one's actions intentionally, one must know that they're all out cheating, and that's fundamentally dishonest. At this level, you are a conspirator orchestrating a technologically advanced cover-up. That's not a writing strategy. That's one's own guilty conscience turned into a workflow to hide their actions. And level 9, the far pole. I use the AI to author. The whole work, start to finish, written with complete abandon because the student stopped working altogether. And that's what makes this the saddest spot on the whole line. This isn't the mastermind cheating. This is a person who's surrendered. In my opinion, this is worse than cheating. Cheaters are still fighting, just dishonorably. A person at this level has dishonorably surrendered. Surrendered the work, surrendered the voice, the compass, all of it. The far side of this picture stopped being a hypothetical, not authored by me. So there's the whole picture. Every act where you did the scholarship, a filled dot, ethical. The one act that straddles the line, half-filled, and every act where the pen changed hands, a hollow dot, past the line. An empty circle because you're not in it. And look at the shape of the whole thing. 3 levels of being informed, 2 of being assisted, with your hands on everything. Then a mere descent, where what you contribute shrinks from your outline and your notes to hand edits, to hiring the cover-up, to nothing at all. The left side of this line builds a scholar. The right side dismantles one. The one sentence runs this entire framework. I want you to carry it with you as you continue on in your dissertation. I use the AI to, and then you say the verb out loud. Discover, appraise, plan, curate, arrange. Say your verb with your head up, and you already know where you stand. Now, remember what I promised you earlier. Very few people cross that line of ethics announcing it. They drift across it one small step at a time, telling themselves a story the whole way. And after years of walking with thousands of dissertation writers, some in my one-to-one coaching and others in my courses, I've heard every version of that story. They all come down to 4 traps, 4 stories that feel true right up until the day they don't. I'm going to show you every one, because I promise you, one of them is already whispering to somebody listening right now. And once we've seen all 4, I'm going to hand you the cure. Trap number 1, I'll revise it. The machine drafts, I'll polish, so it's mine. I rewrote most of it. I changed every sentence a little. If a thesaurus is in your hands or on your screen, we have a problem. An editor's name goes in the acknowledgments. The author's name goes on the cover. Editing a machine's chapter puts your name on the wrong page. Revision doesn't claim authorship. It never did. Trap number 2, I gave it my ideas. It just did the typing. No. In a dissertation, the words aren't packaging around the thinking. Working out what you mean, sentence by sentence, is the thinking. That's why at the end of all this, they make you defend your dissertation. Trap number 3, it's just a tool, like a calculator, like spell check. You know, when the calculator came out, educators did panic. Oh my gosh, people are going to get dumber. Meanwhile, nearly every scientist in the world was already using one. So yes, it's a tool, and tools aren't evil. But ask the next question. A tool at which level? Spell check polishes sentences you authored. A calculator gets banned in one classroom where arithmetic is the thing being certified. And reading and writing are the things this degree certifies. Now, this trap has a cousin. It's no different than an editor. Editors work on prose the author brought to them. Bring it your paragraph for feedback, fine. Bring it your topic so it can compose, that's a ghostwriter. And one more cousin, my program has no policy against it. The line doesn't move because nobody's enforcing it. Policies are being written right now. Your dissertation, though, is forever. And trap number 4, this one deserves gentleness. English isn't my first language. I work full time. I have kids. I just need to finish. I believe you. I honor that pressure. This project can feel like it's chained to your leg, but hear me. AI checking the grammar and the punctuation on prose that you authored? Hey, that's the left side of our framework. And thank God a tool exists to ethically help you. But the machine generating your prose because life is hard? The pressure is real. And the line of what is ethical does not move because things are hard. So how do you catch yourself before drifting into unethical AI use? When we were just looking at those 4 traps, notice the stories that people tend to tell themselves. Each one describes something more innocent than what's actually happening. The story says the AI is a helper. The reality says the AI is the author. Nobody defends what they're actually doing. They defend what they wish they were doing. So here's the cure, and it's almost embarrassingly simple. Say your act out loud in one honest sentence. I use the AI to, and then the true verb. Say discover, say plan, say arrange, and you'll say it with your head up. But if the honest sentence is, I use AI to write my chapter, listen to yourself. The story can't survive its own verb being spoken. And then 2 more tests, and you can run them tonight. First, the secret test. If you feel like you have to keep your workflow a secret from your dissertation chair, something's wrong right there. Because the way that we humans regard secrets is a really good hint that something in fact is wrong and deserves our moral attention. Second, the sweat equity test. Just ask yourself, is the sweat equity in this paper me or is it an AI? Because let's say you fooled everybody. You're still not fooling you. Now let's talk honestly about what's at stake. Because the trade is sneaky. The benefits of crossing the line into unethical territory show up today in private, but the bills show up later in public, and they compound. So let me show you the bills in order they arrive. Bill number 1 arrives the very first day, and it's invisible, the becoming. This whole process is a staircase. The reading prepares you to see the gap. The gap prepares your questions. The questions prepare your methods. The methods prepare your defense. Every stair you climb is what makes the next stair climbable. Hand a stair to the machine and the whole work gets done, but you never get stronger. And even if nobody ever finds out, hear me, even if nobody ever finds out, you arrive at the next challenge weaker. You pay that bill every day. Bill number 2 can arrive at any moment. Fabrication. If the AI invents one source, one page number, one quote, and you didn't check it, there is now a lie in your reference list. And anybody curious can find it. That's not a typo. At most universities, that's misconduct. That bill can cost you the whole degree in one hearing. Bill number 3 has a date on the calendar, your defense. They will ask you how you arrived at your conclusions. And I handed it to the AI is not an answer they're going to accept. The knowledge has to live in you, and you can't cram years of reading into a weekend. There is no AI at the podium. If the machine did your work, that room is where it gets discovered, in public. Bill number 4 arrives the day the lie comes out, the people. Your chair signed their name under yours. Your committee vouched for you. Your family gave up years with you for this. Discovery of unethical AI use doesn't just destroy your reputation, it destroys theirs. Everybody who believed in you becomes someone who got fooled by you. Bill number 5 never expires, the record. Your dissertation gets archived, public, frozen forever exactly as you submitted it, while the tools for checking it only get better. There's no statute of limitations on a discovered lie. A degree can be taken away decades later. Bill number 6 arrives every month, the money. Student loans don't care whether you kept the degree or not. Imagine paying for years for a doctorate you lost or never really earned. The debt stays even when the title doesn't. And the last bill you pay alone at night. Regret. Let's say none of the rest of these consequences ever happen. Nobody checks. Nobody asks. You got away with it. Forever. You'll still know. Every time someone calls you doctor, a small voice will ask, "Did I really earn this?" That voice doesn't retire with age. It's there at 3 in the morning, and it's there at the very end. Notice the bookends. The first bill and the last bill need no detector, no algorithm, no accusation. The becoming you skipped and the regret you keep get paid even if you're never caught, which means this was never really about getting caught. It's about what kind of human you're becoming. Now, maybe I'm describing you. Maybe there's a chapter on your laptop right now that's machine wrote. So let me talk to you like a mentor, because this next part matters. If nobody has seen that chapter, you're one honest decision away from clean. Set it aside. Do the reading it was hiding. Write it again yourself. It costs you some weeks, maybe months, but it buys back everything. Now, if your chair has already seen that work, be very, very careful. Depending upon your university's policies, this may already be so super serious. So before you do anything, talk to people whose job it is to advise you. Your ombudsperson, student legal services. If it's serious, maybe an attorney. I'm a mentor, not a lawyer, so here this is teaching, not legal advice. And if that work has gone all the way to your committee with approvals on it, stop the clock. Don't let it move one step closer to a defense date. Get counsel first, before any conversation, even with your chair. Then, with that guidance, pull the work back and redo it for real, however long it takes. Here's the pattern, and it never changes. The earlier you turn around, the cheaper the repair. A correction you started will always be treated differently than a fraud that they discovered. And going forward, be open about your honest use. In line with your university's policy, it's perfectly reasonable to state that AI helped you locate sources, understand sources, and check your grammar. Honest use, honestly stated, as long as your university policies allow that. The door back never fully closes, it just gets heavier the longer you wait. And the day you can say, "This paper is mine, and I know what's in there," you're just about ready to defend and finish. But I don't want to leave you afraid to use this AI research machine. I want you to leave free. Look back at the left side of that line. Look how much territory is over there. Discover, appraise, plan, curate, arrange. 5 levels of honest help, and most doctoral students have barely touched them. Some of you have been so scared of cheating that you've been doing everything by hand, exhausted, behind, refusing help a librarian would gladly have given you. You don't have to be afraid anymore. That's what the line is for, so you can know the boundaries with your university's policies in mind. The scholar reads, decides, and writes. This video and this framework are 2 halves of one teaching. Because here's the beautiful part. Every hour your AI research machine saves you on searching and formatting is an hour returned to the work that actually changes you. The deep reading, the thinking, the writing in your own voice. Used on the left side, AI doesn't skip the becoming, it funds it. You now have a research librarian, a tutor, and a study planner awake around the clock for about $20 a month. Scholars a generation ago would have wept knowing about this tool. So don't cross the line, and don't hide from the machine either. Stand on the left side with your university's policy in hand and run with it. Use the AI to discover, to appraise, to plan, to curate, to arrange with your eyes on every source and your hands on your own keyboard. Because this degree was never a piece of paper, it's who you become while you earn it. There are many people waiting for the person that you are becoming. And 5 years from now, when somebody calls you doctor, you'll know with complete certainty that you earned it, and you'll get to live in peace. If today moved you forward, subscribe. There's much more coming for your warrior path. And the Dissertation Warrior is available now wherever you buy books. And when you want help to the finish line, join us in the Dissertation Mentor Accelerator Program or the Dissertation Mentor One-to-One Mentorship. tonight, say your sentence out loud. I use the AI too. Finish it with your head up. Much love. See you next time.